This video today is sponsored by the subscribe button. We are going for 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so go ahead and click it. And with that out of the way, let's get started on today's how-to video. And we're off! The Dragonfly dropship has left the monastery. We made our way over to Chaos City. I can't wait to show you guys how to build this. It is really one of the most fun vehicles to fly. Goes in every direction, it has storage, plenty of seating, but let's go ahead and just get started. So I always like to start with this vehicle base, the 2x6x2. It's just made of pure granite, so it's nice and easy, clean. We're going to add 4 of those in a row, and then cap it with 2 end pieces like so to make a T shape, and then on the opposite side too to turn that T into the letter I. So we'll go just like this. Next, we're going to continue our granite frame by adding 2 more pieces, 1 each to the front, just like so, front and back. And then 1 to the center. So right there is the one in the back, there's the one at the front, and then we'll pop 2 more right here, and we're going to just center them in the very middle of our frame. It can be a little bit tricky, but if you use the snap points and just adjust, you should be able to get it lined up. There we go. Alright, and this is going to give us room to a round of thrusters. We're going to do forward thrusters as well as our left and right. So just go ahead and place them everywhere that I place these small thrusters. Alright, and that is basically step 1 complete. We've got our frame, we've got our round of thrusters. Go ahead and change your settings however you like them. I usually do this front one as channel 1, and then the other direction is channel 2, and then you do it backwards on the opposite side. That is channel 2, and then this side will be channel 1. And now we're ready to start going. But before we continue building, always test your thrusters. Make sure that they're working how you want them. There we go. Looks good to me. And you can break your driver's seat when you're done, because we will be putting that somewhere else on the build for sure. Alright, so the next step we're going to do is go ahead and place our floors. So we are using the Palm Paradise and the Superhero Academy kits. Those both came in Lego passes, so if you don't have them, you will probably have to do your best to swap those parts with something else. So what we're doing here for our floor is it's going to be 16 by 8 wide, and then you add 2 2x16s to each side. That's going to make it 20 studs wide for the inside floor, and 16 plus another 2, 18. We're not making a square, we're making a weird long rectangle. My math's not great, but copy what I do, not what I say. There we go, with a 12 by 2 by 1. And then that's going to be the inside floor. Now, I make a small error here, but go ahead and still just copy as I do, because it'll be easier to follow along and fix it later than it is for me to try to explain it. You're going to add 2 more vehicle bases here, and you're going to add your red activation switch to the top of... You really only need to do it on the back 2. You can ignore those front 2. That's what I mean by I did 2 too many. You only need those back 2. Make sure you fall off the edge of the cliff before you hop right back to your working. That's a necessary step as always. So what these activation plates are going to do is allow us to place one of our just generic, let's use 2x16 plate, and we're going to just line it up with the underside of our switch. So grab your plate like so. We're going to swap it over to our different Supernova Academy. And then grab your 2x16 plate. There it is. And just line it up underneath that activation switch. And adjust it over until it turns green like so. You want it to just pretty closely line up with your floor, leaving 4 spaces up by the front. For sure, you do not want to place any plates there. That's how you'll get in and out. So then take these down. You don't need them. You never did. And you can take down the back two that you actually did use. You do not need them anymore. You'll be able to attach all of your snot bricks onto those 2 white plates. So you can remove those granite foundations as well. You don't need those. And let's keep going. We're going to look back to the front of the vehicle, grab that same vehicle base, and we're going to line 2 up facing forward like so. Adjust it all the way to the end, right next to each other, and then same on the opposite side. Oop, that one was too far. You just want it lined up with the edge there. Perfect. Leaving a gap of 6 spaces in between to fit 2 more foundation bricks. Again, those last 2 bricks we're going to delete later, but for now, just leave them. It's just a couple pieces of granite. You'll get it back. So for the back end, we're going to fill it up a lot thicker. You can see how we did it there. We did 2 sideways facing backwards and then 1 in the middle. That's going to form the spine of our dragonfly tail. So as we build the foundation up, we're going to want to add 1 more plate so that we get our walls going. And you can just attach that with a snap point super easily. And then grab your 2x4 plates and we're going to make our windows by just attaching it to the snap point. You do not need to adjust over at all. Those 2x16s should have good snap points for you. And then you just need 1 more on top and bam, you got the sides made. You got your window frames done. Pretty good. And let's sleep till morning. Next, use 2 2x4s to give yourself a little bit of a frame for your door. We'll fill in the last piece later. And we're going to go back to our granite bricks. On the backside. Yep, there we are. And I ran out of granite. Give me just a sec. I'll be right back. And I'm back. And just fill it up. It's going to be 3 more bricks tall. Even along that back tail spine. And then for the front one, you're just going to do the edge 3 bricks tall. Leaving that gap in the middle. There we go, just like so. Excellent. Alright, everything we have placed so far, for sure, can be made with just generic bricks. Until now, with this step, this requires that scientific wall. If you are able to find a free way to make this shape while keeping the balance, I would love to see a perfectly free model of this vehicle made. If you got one, I'll shout you out. But for now, you're going to grab your left and right, and you just want to line it up with the top of those foundation bricks that you placed up towards the front of the vehicle, just like so. And it should make a nice, even, clean attachment there. And then for the actual center part, we're going to need 2 more of these foundation bricks. Not like that. You just want them to face directly down. I'll show you right here, because you're going to add 1 more of the red activation plate, the pressure plate. Center it on that bottommost part. And then use the thinner of the roof pieces to adjust up until it's at the right spot. So it's pretty tricky to get it. You got to move it up, and then you got to move it out just a little bit until it turns green. And you want the bottom of that roof piece to line up as close as possible with the bottom of the piece that you put up. So there we go. I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like from the inside. You're looking at basically 1 plate of space between those foundation blocks you place, the granite ones, and the roof piece. If that makes sense. There we go. Remove those extra parts. That was just to turn the brick sideways. And then now we can fill in this gap here. There we go. Off to the sides, so I grabbed a 2x4 plate just from the superheroes, and I'm just trying to adjust it right above that side thruster there to act as a little step. Really ends up being more of a hand grip, because your little Lego guy will mantle over it to get inside, but it works well. And it's just one plate lower than the rest of the floor is. This part's fun. It leaves a little bit of customization. Everywhere that you've got those floor pieces built on sideways, you just need to cover with one more layer of floor. You can use any parts you want here. You can use rugs even, because we're not as worried about weight balance. We are just decorating it and making it a little bit thicker, more manageable. One of the reasons we do this is so that if your vehicle gets hit, there's a chance that it will still remain flying, right? It can take a little bit of damage on the outside. Keep going. So I just decorated it with some of the supernova pieces in blue and white. I don't know, was just going for like something kind of neat, just clean. But again, you can decorate it however you like. Get creative with it. It's your build. Once you have both of the sides done, we're going to grab this 6x6 curved plate, and we're going to put it right here. So line it up with those sideways floor pieces you were just placing, and adjust it over to the front of the vehicle until you have 2 studs remaining visible on the granite blocks. So you can see here, we adjust it over and down, and then there's 2 gray block strip remaining on either side of your window door setup. That makes sense? Now underneath, we're going to do 2 8x8 plates, one on either side of the car jack, and then add one more to the very back of the vehicle. And you're going to grab your 4x4 for the front, just like so. And you can even fill in the gap there next to the car jack if you wish. Just like that, with 2 2x4 pieces. I even optionally filled in the front one too. It's alright. As long as you have one stud exposed on the very back of the vehicle to place this part here. So this comes from your supernova wall pieces. It's similar to the one at the front, but it's a little bit smaller and does not have visible windows. So that's the piece that you need. And place one on each side of that little support beam you made so that they are resting directly on that floor piece that you just placed. I know that can be a little confusing, but it should click in place nicely for you. Add some thrusters there, just 2 on each side, adjust down. And then we're going to grab our favorite foundation piece, our granite 2x6x2, and start filling in the gaps here. Should look like that. And then we're going to start filling in the tail. So put one piece in the middle there, just like so that you have a snap point. And then 2 more rotated sideways. 2 more adjusted so that you are now thinning out the shape of the tail. So you have 1 stud on each side not used. And we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of those out to be the tail. So that's what it should look like. And it is important that you get the tail right, because that is going to be very key for balance, for flight, for maneuverability. You want to make sure your tail looks exactly like the one I'm showing you now. Now, one of the reasons that I use the supernova pieces instead of the beachside boulevard or the generic parts for the white is just that the marble holds up a little better than wood. So you're going to want to go ahead and just decorate your tail like so, with an 8x8, some 2x8s, and then 2x16s. And you should be able to follow along pretty easy and get this shape. For the dragonfly tail, you're going to add 4 thrusters, the large size, 1 on the furthest away snap point, and then 1 just about 2 snap points in. You also need a small balloon centered on the very back of the tail. That's going to make sure that your vehicle always points a little bit down when you don't have all of your balloons activated. That'll be important for landing and visibility. So yeah, adjust your thrusters however you like them. You saw how I did it there. I always keep mine the same so I never get confused on my builds. And we're going to add just 1 more layer of plates and a driver's seat to the back here, and that should be it. That's all we'll need for the tail. I guess I add the plates later. Next step is we're going to start filling in the roof. So you can see how I've got this 2x16 lined up with the granite foundation blocks next to the door. And then I'm going to start filling in all of the space with 2x8s and 2x4s, since I don't have this piece in a 2x12. That will leave you an 8x space in the middle. We'll come back to that. For the cockpit, 2 more 2x16s adjusted over will leave you a 6x space in the middle. Fill in the gaps like so. 2 2x6s and one 2x6 and a 2x4 will be all you need. There you go. That should be the shape you have. And then go to your Palm Paradise. So all you need is your Palm Paradise and your Supernova Academy to build this. Everything else can be done for free. And you're going to need this piece here, this clear ceiling piece. You'll fit 2 of them in there. And then for the cockpit, you're going to grab actually a roof piece. We're going to just give the illusion that this is the cockpit, since in fact you drive it from the tail. So you're going to need, oops, I just passed it. This piece right here. Nope. This piece, yeah. And you just want to line it up with the top plate that you just placed, so you might have to adjust it up 1. 3 of those at the front, followed by the 2x8s. And those are a little bit tricky to line up since you don't have a snap point yet. There you go. And last one, come on. There it is. And then we're going to grab the 2x4 and snap it right behind. And then lastly, you just need that same rounded part from earlier, the 2x2x2. And you fit it in right there, and then that's going to give you your quote-unquote glass screen where the driver would stick his head up, theoretically. Okay, the fun part. We are officially moving out to the wings, so I'm going to build you one of these for you to follow along. You can see where I placed it. It's the 4x16x2 from the Palm Paradise roof parts. And notice how we've left it all the way up to the front with 2 studs of that granite foundation still visible. And you will have to adjust these parts down. It's a little bit tricky, but as long as you're touching that foundation piece, it'll be attached. I also added a 2x8 plate here just to fill this gap in a little bit. That's optional. You only do this if you want to. But I think it looks cleaner. Okay, so the fun part. 6x6x2 rounded piece and the 2x4. And both of these come from the roof kit in the Palm Paradise. And you're just going to make a rounded square shape off the edge. And then you're going to make another one on top that's a little bit smaller. So instead of using the 4x2, you're going to use a 2x2 amount of space in between. And then match up the color again. Excellent. And it's super easy, super simple build. And you're just going to want to build 3 more of those. There we go. Built 3 off camera. And it's really coming together. There's a few more parts that we need to do to make this thing really functional, but let's sleep till morning. Next, we'll strengthen each one of these arms by adding another 4x16x2 roof piece on top, just like so. And you'll adjust it 1 stud in, so you'll be left with a little bit of an offset. That's okay. You're going to fill in the space here. I just continue grabbing the Palm Paradise parts, but you can use any parts at this point for this. Oh yeah, I also added some Supernova Academy because I wanted those white parts. 2 2x8s, 2 2x4s, and on each side you're going to do 2 4x4 plates underneath. There we are. And then you'll just want to match this on the back as well. Alright, we are almost finished. We've got the main frame all filled out. Add in one more 2x8 right here. We could have done this earlier, I just completely forgot to. And here. And then on the back, you'll want to just do a 2x4 and a 2x6. Just like so. And then we're get to the fun part. Oh, I guess no. Optional 2x6 is down here if you wish. Okay, now we get to the fun part. Grab a short railing piece, so I use the one from Palm Paradise to keep the color scheme matching. And you'll want to do 2 each underneath those side wing pieces. So I just centered them right below, just like that. And I guess those 2x6 pieces are necessary, because that's where it attaches to. I knew what I was doing. I should have trusted myself. Alright. That's looking real good. There's only a few more parts we need to put on until it's finished. Grab your large thruster. And do you see I'm centering it on the lower ring and attaching it to the 4x2, the 2x4x2. And we're going to put one facing forwards and one facing backwards. So that's 2 large thrusters per round thing. Sleep till morning, and then go ahead and finish the rest of your thrusters. And then once you have that done, you're going to need the small thruster, and you're going to put the small thruster on the small ring facing down. Just like so. This is going to help with turning and with angling, and it's also going to allow your vehicle to fly up without using the activated balloons. I'll show you how to drive it here at the end. I also like to add this small front piece that has lights on it, wherever it'll fit down here, but pretty much right over the car jack. This is nice so that you can see the door when it's dark, if you're trying to hurry. And then we'll also put some lights up at the front just for visibility, so I line it up on this curved piece and push it as far back as I can. Just like that. There we go, that's all you need. You don't need to overdo it. Then back up at the top, we're going to change our channels. So it's going to be easy enough for you to just copy what I'm doing here. But if you're using your own channel system, just remember that the thrusters that face backwards are for turning into the direction that the thruster is on. So the thrusters on the right side will turn you right. The thrusters on the left side will turn you left. And those small thrusters you placed need to be opposite of the large ones, so that when you turn, it angles you. I'll show you here. I did that one wrong. Hold up. There we go. That one's right. Okay. So turning to the left, turning to the right, forward. Yeah. You'll see how it looks. If you're struggling, just let me know in the comments and I'll help you out as best I can. But it's time for our activated balloons. Put one on each of the 2x2 roof pieces in a straight line here so that you have 2 per... I don't even know what to call these things. They're not propellers, they're just like rounded squares. And that's a pretty boring thing to call it. Then once you've got those on, turn them on, activate them, so that you know where to place your balloons. So I like to just move it so that it's the same distance away from the other ones, which I believe is 10 studs, or 4 studs in from the center of the vehicle. There we go. And then these should be your just regular balloons so that when you turn it off, those 4 stay on. And that's going to help you land safely. So back inside the vehicle, I removed those 2 2x6 granite pieces. And we're going to just put in a little bit of flooring. Again, just match your floor to whatever parts you used earlier in the build. 2x6s will fit just fine. You'll need 3 of them. And there we go. It's a decent amount of space in there. I really like how it turned out. Okay, so for the eyes of the Dragonfly dropship, I use sapphire chests. The main reason is for weight and storage. So I need the front of this vehicle to point down for flight purposes. You'll see later. So I just added some extra weight. We'll pretend they're dragonfly eyes, and if you need to use them for storage, there you go. At this point, you are almost entirely done. You can add a couple of plates here if you wish to hide the gap underneath that support beam. I just used some supernova pieces, but that's optional. I would recommend adding some more plates to the very back of the tail. I'll show you here. Let's just grab... yeah, there we are. Supernova marble parts, 2x16x2, and we're going to add 3 there, and 1... right there. And that should be good. That should keep you pretty much the right balance that you're going to need. Back inside, add 2 lights to the back facing forward so that you can see. And then you're going to want to just grab this chair right here, the one that looks like the large driver's seat, and center it right on your window and push it as far against as you can. I'll show you here. You still can sit. Leaves you plenty of room to hop in and out. And then I add 1 per window. And I also am going to put 2 at the back, like a lot of buses will have seats at the back, like so. There we go. And you are welcome to decorate the inside however you wish. The last main step is we're going to add the skids, the feet below. So you're going to want these yellow parts. You've got a left one and a right one. And then I also turn it like so. You don't have to. You can just do the front ones. I'll show you. This is more ornamental. But you do want to put 2 at the back. And then, very last, we're going to grab 2 more plates. Definitely grab something like granite or marble. Do not use wood for this part. This is the feet. This is what it's going to land on every time. So I'm grabbing knot root. Knot root is also stronger than wood. That'll be fine. So just like so. And on the back one too. And then you're done. Alright, now that we are finished, let's go ahead and take it off of the car jack. And we'll give it a test flight. I'll show you how to fly this beast. There we go. Driver's seat. And then channel 3, let's go forward. And when you are flying, it will always try to point down like this. Unless you use your larger balloons. We'll activate those in a second. We're just practicing our left to right now. There's our activated balloons. And you can see when we turn, it slightly angles the craft just a little bit. And that adds so much dynamic movement, I can't even explain how fun it is. We'll keep practicing a little bit. Forward, up, down, left. If you hit both of your left and right at the same time, you'll move backwards and up a little bit, but I'll show you that when I teach you how to park here. In fact, let's go over to Chaos City, and we'll try parking it. All right, and we are here in Chaos City. Let me give you a little tour. We go ahead and land it. So my friend Cyan Skulls and I have been working on this city. We hit complexity way faster than we were hoping we were going to, but it's still neat. So it's supposed to be a little Ninjago city that's being attacked by like a UFO or something, or maybe they built that tower thing. But yeah, we're gonna have to do something different with this city. We've got a little video we're working on. But for now, you can just see how maneuverable this vehicle is. It's really quite good. Yep, backs up just fine. See how quickly it went from forward to backwards. So yeah, left turn, right turn, both of them to move backwards. If you do both of them and forward, you'll move up. You'll move up and forwards. You can also move up, obviously, by just activating your extra balloons. And then when you want to land it, it's really just a matter of practice. It doesn't move side to side like a proper helicopter could, I guess. But you can usually get pretty good. This is unedited. I'm just going to show you how much work it actually takes to land it on a thin airstrip like this. And you can see the prototype that I made for Cyan Skulls right there parked. Try to park this one. Come on. Come on. I don't know why they ever let me behind the wheel of a car. Oh, bumped it. Sorry, Cyan. Okay, yeah, there you go, and it slides. Alright, well, I hope you liked that. I put a lot of work into making this. It's one of my favorite flyers I've done. If you do like it, obviously hit that like button, subscribe to the Chaos Terminal, because we are back in the swing of things, making more vehicles, doing more building. We're glad to have you here. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be making one of these Dragonfly dropships. And other than that, we will catch up with you next time. Have a good one. Bye.